Hey, everybody, welcome back to Real Talk with QHT. I'm your host, George Herrera, and today I'm joined again by my partner, Abigail Herrera.
The great.
And I'm self proclaimed Abigail the Great. That's what it is on her license plate.
Self-proclaimed for many years.
You could do that on your license plate ABGLGR
Abigail.
number 8.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Abigail, maybe the letter D. D, great.
But then the question will be, what is Abigail the Great at?
Oh yeah, but then you gotta.
Inquiring minds want to know.
Yes, yes. Okay, perfect. So, how are you? Happy Sunday.
Thank you. I feel I feel better today than I've had in the last probably 2 weeks.
Nice.
I
Yeah,
don't know
for
why.
some reason, the last few days, really getting some good sleep.
Well, sleep for you, but for me, less. My anxiety is lessening.
Okay, okay. Yeah, less stresses.
Yeah, less burdens on my shoulders in a way.
Yeah. For those that don't know, in the last week or two, we got really busy. A lot of people calling, a lot of people reaching out to
Oh
us,
my
people we've
gosh.
been in touch with, and it just got really. When it happens in real estate, for those of you that don't know, for agents, when it happens, sometimes you have weeks where a lot of business comes at you at
It's just
once, and then it creates a lot of. Sorry about that. That's my iPad.
I hope that doesn't not is not affecting your video.
No, no, that's good.
Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, like I was saying, sometimes in our business, you can get a lot of business coming at you all at once, and it can get overwhelming.
Yeah, pretty much we've gotten slammed in the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And it's no complaints. It's definitely a good thing. When it happens all at once, it becomes overwhelming sometimes because like, oh my God, everybody needs help all of a sudden.
Yeah. And we'll talk about that later because it's interesting when things like that happen. You wonder if it's just us or if it's market wide. So we'll
Sure.
we'll talk about that a little bit.
Hmm.
So as always, we start with our question or topic of the week. And this week, we have a question for you. The
What's the
question
meaning of
is,
life?
no, we don't have. This episode is not that long.
Oh, that would have been a good question.
So the question is, how is the Queens real estate market in 2023? Please.
So, how is it, George?
This is for you.
What?
You're always the answerer of the question of the week.
Okay, well, I'll answer based on what we're experiencing.
That's it. Yeah.
So considering that, what's today's date? Today is February the 5th.
Mm-hmm.
So the first 2 weeks of January were slow in activity, meaning, not many people were inquiring to purchase, or not many people were looking to inquire to list and sell their home, which is actually normal. Every
Mm-hmm.
year we track this data for years, actually. So it's usually very normal. And then the last 2 weeks, as I said, we got slammed. We've had how many?
And
12?
slammed with buyer or seller
Actually
inquiries.
slammed with seller inquiries.
Okay.
And buyer activity actually has picked up in terms of attendance of open houses, inquiries to see our clients' properties, whether co ops, condo, and residential homes. So I would say, yeah, in general, like activity actually has picked up in the last 2 weeks. So I'm happy to experience that as a realtor.
Okay. So then, so that's how the Queens real estate market is in 2023. I guess
Right now.
fairly active. Yeah.
Pretty active right
Okay.
now. Yeah, that's good. And oh, actually, I also believe that applications are up, loan applications are up as well,
They
speaking to
were,
our
yeah, in the
lenders.
beginning of the
So that
year.
also is a sign of something happening,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Okay. So would you classify it from your what you're experiencing, a buyer's market, a seller's market, or a balanced market?
Well, that depends on the property type. So, and location and
Okay.
specific property
In
type, how many
general,
bedroom
just
counts.
generally.
Generally, I believe it's a low inventory environment for residential homes,
Okay.
right? And that's also based on your reporting.
Mm-hmm. If you read it, yes.
We're still experiencing low inventory.
Okay.
I wouldn't necessarily say because we are experiencing low inventory, it's a seller, quote unquote, seller's market, because the activity that has slowly picked up
Mm-hmm.
also combats the idea of a seller's market. You
Mm-hmm.
know, if we had multiple offers, people banging down doors to see properties, and there's multiple offers,
Mm-hmm.
properties that are getting offers at or above asking. That's what I've experienced as seller's market in prior years.
Sure.
But now it's like, we're starting to see activity, although there's lack of inventory. It's like kind of balanced in a way. There's no favoring of either. Would you
Yeah,
agree?
sure, sure. So I just did the report, the Q4 market report to wrap up the whole year, and it was pretty interesting to go through the numbers. So closed sales fell off a cliff. So definitely, like everybody anticipated, the last quarter of the year, you had in October rates hit 7.5%. We saw right away demand fall off a cliff. So now you see it in the data that closed sales were definitely down big time. Usually that makes month supply goes up because sales falls off a cliff, inventory is still growing, and then you get the disparity of high inventory and low demand. So that usually creates the month supply over 8 months or something like that. But
However,
but inventory has not grown. It has remained low, and as a matter of fact, it actually went down a lot. So month supply is still in that balanced area, but inventory is low. For Queens, for what we know, to have the kind of inventory levels that we're used to, it's very low still. And so even though demand fell off a cliff, inventory came down big time. So you still have a balanced market in terms of month supply. And now, if rates keep trending downward, you're going to get more demand coming back in, which might push it more into what feels like a seller's market, unless we get more inventory. So, this is just some quick tidbits from the market report. At the end of the year, we had, or even like right now, we have about 4,600 homes for sale in Queens.
mm-hmm.
And last quarter, so at the end of September, we had 5,500. So almost 1,000 less properties for sale
Mm-hmm.
right now compared to the last quarter. So that's inventory still going down.
Okay.
And month supply at the end of December was 5.6 months. And at the end of September was 5.9 months.
All right.
So it went down from 5.9 to 5.6. And month supply is the gauge that measures supply and demand for real estate. Below 5 months is a seller's market. Above 8 months is a buyer's market. Anything around 5 to 7 is usually like a balanced market.
Mm-hmm.
So it is technically a balanced market, but we'll see what happens in the next quarter or two
So,
with inventory and sales.
inquiring minds want to know, what do you
Hmm.
think is the cause of this?
So I think one major aspect is the lock-in effect. So
Mm.
this is a
See, you and I, that's how I know we've been married for a long time
uh-huh.
because I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah, so the lock-in effect is real. You have a lot of homeowners who locked in rates at 3%, three and a quarter, 2.875, amazing mortgage rates. And for them to sell, to enter a market where they're going to be paying a 6%, most likely double what they have now, it's kind of like, why would I sell right now?
If they
So
purchased again.
if which most people do, sell and buy somewhere.
Not necessarily, but the other idea is that added to that is that people that are selling, potentially renting, rents are up too.
Yeah,
So
rents
that's
are up.
also a secondary factor, right?
Yeah, well, rents are coming down now. They're coming down a lot. So the rents are finally, that's normalizing, but
What do you
mortgage
mean by
rates
a
are still
lot? Like
high.
how many percent is?
Yeah, they're coming down. More rents are definitely coming down. They're normalizing.
Okay.
Yeah, so they went up a lot, but they're coming down. Those are normalizing now. But you have a lot of sellers that I think are just locked into really low rates, and if there's no need to sell, then they can just wait it out and wait until mortgage rates go down again, or if they see prices go down. So
Mm.
some sellers might be waiting. Maybe they want to move to Florida or Arizona, but they hear that prices are coming down. So why would I sell now? Let me wait until I see the prices go down
Mm-hmm.
and maybe, put their property on the market. So it's interesting that the last week we got a lot of homeowners and home sellers reaching out to us because maybe in this first quarter, if that's a market trend here, then you might see a lot of inventory hit the market this first quarter and even in the spring. And if we get that, then that might be what shifts the market into something that favors more buyers.
I guess we'll see as we analyze your monthly this month in Queens real estate reporting.
Yeah, quarterly.
Okay.
Yes, the
All
quarterly
right.
report.
Great.
So that's so Queens real estate market, technically balanced market, and it feels like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it feels
Yes.
pretty balanced. Now, aha or tip of the week. Do you
Mm-hmm.
have any aha you want to share?
Oh, so I forgot to explain the format of what we're gonna talk about.
Oh,
Right.
okay, okay. Go ahead.
First, the aha tip of the week. Right. Well, actually, we went through the question or topic of the week, of course.
Uh-huh.
Then the aha or tip of the week.
Yep.
Then we'll go through new listings.
Yep.
Next is market insights, and then lastly, what we are reading, watching, or listening to.
Yes.
Okay. Now that we have some organization here.
Now that you know the format.
All right. So, aha or tip of the week. Aha. The quickest way to boost your credit is to have yourself added to someone's credit card who has great credit. Great to do with kids or nephews at an early age.
That was my aha, by the way.
Oh, I think I did that with
What's
you.
your aha?
Didn't I do that with you when we were young?
No, I don't
I'm
think
pretty
so.
sure I added you as a secondary creditor on my credit cards.
Yeah, you might. I added you too. No, we didn't do it to boost my credit.
Oh, okay.
No.
But this was so long ago.
Yeah, I learned this from a lender
That's a good
where
one.
he said the quickest way, you can verify this, but this was just from a class that I attended. And he said the quickest way to boost your credit is to have yourself added to someone's credit card who has great credit. And he said this is good for kids, for nephews, if you want to help younger people boost their credit. But who knows if it's with family and you want to buy and, you want to get your credit up, this could be a strategy.
Of course, they have to think about who they're adding.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
make
that's up
sure
to you.
that-
That's up to you. The aha is that it's the
Yes.
quickest way to boost
Okay,
your
good.
credit.
We'll keep it at that.
Yeah. What about you? Any ahas?
Yeah, I mean, I would say aha slash tip of the week is I know that in previous podcasts we had spoken about, the 3-2-1 buy down, the 2-1 buy downs, right? And congratulations, because we have successfully purchased an investment property upstate, right?
Yes.
In Dutchess County.
This last week.
right?
Yep.
And we do what we do.
Uh-huh. QHT is going to laugh on that one.
We do what we preach. And so we actually took advantage of this buy down, the 2-1 buy down specifically. We first considered the 3-2-1, but it worked out better for us with a 2-1,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
So, yes.
And if you listen to previous episodes, I explain the 3-2-1 buy down and the
Yeah.
2-1 buy down.
Otherwise, we wouldn't be able to do it otherwise. It would
We
be too
could.
tight. It would
We-
just be so tight.
Well, you could. So if they heard in the previous ones, it's where you get for a 2-1 buy down for 2 years, or for the first year you get a mortgage rate that's 2% lower, and then the next year it goes up 1%, and then the final year, and then for the rest of the loan term, it's at the terminal rate, the actual rate. So 4.5, then 5.5, then 6.5, and yeah, I mean, we could have done it, but the 2-1 definitely gives you that first and second year. You gradually go into the 6.5, and who knows if rates are down by then, maybe we can refinance it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And shout out, of course, to our guy. Ooh, excuse me. That's my Spanish lesson reminder. Oops.
This is such a professional show.
Shout out to our guy, Rafael Reyes,
Yes.
with Cross Country Mortgage, who's actually been a very good friend and close lender of ours, very
Yeah.
experienced, and he's helped us through many real estate needs personally.
Yes.
And we've referred him to many clients. So shout out to Rafael Reyes. If you need a referral to a great lender, yes, we're giving him a plug.
Yes. And for the 2-1 buy down, I guess that is something good for listeners or anyone that watches us to know that, when we're giving this advice, it's not like we're just giving this advice and hanging on the sidelines. We were actively looking for a property for the last year or so. And even though, you hear whatever you hear on the news and mortgage rates going up, the truth is that, it's terms of investing, good real estate investors, they buy in any market because it's really just about the numbers making sense. And so you just always have to be on the lookout. And when you find a property that fits your criteria and the numbers make sense, you buy it.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter, if we're not looking to flip the house, we're holding it. So, there's no sense in getting scared of the market or waiting for prices to plummet 20%. That might never happen,
Yeah, I think it
or
just
it might
comes.
not
I
happen.
mean, you and I have been in the business, for quite some time already,
Yeah.
and so I think that it always comes down to the true desires and motivation
Yeah.
of people, what they plan to do, and when it's time for them, they know it and they move forward.
And it's like Warren Buffett says, be fearful when people are greedy and be greedy when people are fearful. So when everybody is getting scared and jumping out of the market and doesn't want to buy, that's your opportunity to go in and look at properties and make offers when there's no one else making offers.
Oh,
That's the opportunity.
I have another aha of the week.
Okay.
Yeah, the aha is just like real estate, whether you decide to buy or sell,
Uh-huh.
and you know when you're ready or not. Well, that's the same thing when it comes to LASIK eye surgery.
Oh, yeah. So if you remember the last episode, Abby was going to her LASIK surgery appointment and she bailed. So she's still wearing contacts.
Well, basically, I was ready right up until I got to the doctor's office and then started to fill out consent forms. Oh my God.
Oh,
What a blunder.
yeah. She ended up in a fetal position getting nurtured by the nurses over there.
So,
So no go
truly,
there.
if you're really ready and motivated, you will do it.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know?
Yeah, that's one of those things you got to just know.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
yeah, for those of you who have questions on any of that LASIK eye surgery or real estate, feel free to contact me. I'll keep it
Yes.
straight with you.
Oh, man. So
All right.
the next thing is a tip that I wanted to give to the readers. And
Okay.
this was on our social media site. So if you go to our Instagram page, you'll be able to see this also. But I wanted to let people know about Queen's addresses. So what to know about Queen's addresses. Okay. I'm
Okay.
going to mention some of these things to you. Let's see if you know them, because if you read the post, then you would have seen it. So Queens is the only borough in NYC where the addresses have dashes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Cool.
80% of Queens has an underlying grid. Did you know that?
I did not know that. What is
Okay.
that?
So 80% of Queens has an underlying grid. Streets typically run north to south.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Think like Whitestone to the Rockaways.
Mm-hmm.
And avenues typically run west to east. So Long Island City to Queens Village. Okay.
Cool.
So streets typically north to south, avenues west to east.
Okay.
If additional streets, okay, this is a cool one because you'll be able to see it as you drive around now.
Mm-hmm.
If additional streets were added after the original grid system was put in place, those were called place and lane in that order.
Okay.
So you get how that works?
So street and ave are the grids, and then place and lane are the addition.
Well, for streets, not avenues. So if let's say you had First Street, Second Street, Third Street, Fourth Street, and then a street was placed in between, let's say, first and second, and then it's already the grids in place. So that would be called first place.
Okay.
And then if another street was put in between there, first lane.
Got
So
it.
in that order.
Yes.
Yeah, so it would be that place and lane there. And then if additional avenues were put in after the original grid, those were called road, drive, or terrace, and terrace in that order.
Okay, got it.
This you can find in Forest Hills. This is where I've seen this. If you go to Forest Hills driving down 108th Street, you'll see 66th Street or 66th Ave.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's I forgot if it's street or Ave, but you'll see the road, 66 Road, 66 Drive, and 66 Terrace.
Got it.
So you know those came in after the grid.
Cool. Fun fact.
And all major thoroughfares that cross through streets and avenues were called boulevards.
Cool.
Yeah, so that's like Queens Boulevard, Northern Boulevard, Rockaway. Now, this a pop quiz question I wanted to do here, and we'll see if anybody messages in. But I put this on our social media too as a Q&A sticker. And the question was, how many boulevards are there in Queens? So this will be for anyone out there. If you know, send us a message.
Oh, I wonder what the
How many boulevards? So you're thinking about
Yeah. Well,
Northern
yeah,
Boulevard,
yeah.
Astoria Boulevard, Rockaway Boulevard, Linden Boulevard.
You're trying to give them the answer.
No, no, there's more.
Yes, I
There's
know.
a lot. So, how many boulevards are there in Queens?
Wow.
Let
Good.
us
That's a
know.
good one. Let
Yes.
us.
Okay, perfect.
All
So that's
right.
the tip.
Oh, you have the answer right here.
Yeah, but
Oh, okay.
you can't say it.
All righty. Nice. That's
Yes.
cool. That's cool. Fun facts about Queens.
Mm-hmm.
Really cool. Thank you. All right. So let's now talk about new listings. So we do have a one-bedroom co-op apartment at the Amherst in Jackson Heights, right? Right nearby Northern Boulevard. So it's an excellent location. And this one's asking for 285. The maintenance is 720 per month. They do have an ongoing assessment. We'll give information about that this week as well. But it's a one-bedroom, one-bath co-op apartment at the Amherst in Jackson Heights. Details to follow this week.
Yeah, and I believe this one's 20% down minimum.
I believe so. Yes.
Okay. And this is one of those, under 300,000, one bedroom co-op with that maintenance. Most likely you'd be paying less than what the rent would be.
Oh,
So
cool.
this is one of those,
Great.
any one bedroom co-op, Northwest Queens, under 300,000, usually your mortgage and maintenance will be less than what you're paying in rent. So it's a good way to lock yourself into a fixed payment, for the next however many years. And that's a hedge against inflation because if rents go up or keep going up, at least you're locked in there.
Got it.
So that's a good opportunity there.
Cool. Thank you.
Okay. Next thing is our market insights. So we always talk about the 10-year treasury. And the 10-year treasury right now is 3.53%. Last week it was 3.55%. So it's been around mid threes. And actually last week they dropped below 3.4% at one day. And that day the mortgage rates fell below 6%.
Oh,
And then there was
that's
there was
great.
articles that came out, mortgage rates fall below 6%.
Ah.
Right now the average rate for a 30-year fix is 6.19%, so about 6.2, and last week they were 6.1. They've been in the low sixes, but if this trend continues, you might see mortgage rates go below 6%, which the chief economist for NAR, Lawrence Yun, he predicts that we're going to stabilize somewhere in the mid fives.
Wow.
I think if we get in the mid fives, you're going to see a lot more demand come back into the market.
Sure.
And if inventory levels are still low, you'll end up with another seller's market. So we'll see if we get where the rates end up and where our inventory levels end up.
Cool.
Yeah. So that's the market insights.
All right.
Stock market has been ripping. So the stock market has been on a pretty good tear,
Cool.
but we'll see what happens.
All right. So the market didn't take a bath.
No, not yet this year.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's good.
we'll see what happens.
All right. Learning all these new terms for stock market.
Yeah, but it's been pretty good
Cool.
for the portfolios.
All right. Great. All right. Cool. So now, last but not least, reading, listening, watch. Well, that was,
We've been watching a lot of
Read,
good
watch,
shows,
and listen.
actually.
okay. So tell me what you've been watching.
I've been watching probably Last of Us. That's like
Oh, that's fun.
that last episode was crazy.
Yeah.
Um,
Tearjerker.
but my recommendation this week is a podcast. It's Think Like a CEO with Gary Keller and Jay Papasan. And episode 2. So this is mainly for any of those business owners out there, entrepreneurs, self-employed people, sole proprietors. If you're, this year is a year, most likely a recessionary year, a year where you have to adapt, where you might have to shift your business, cut costs, really tighten the belt strap, as they say,
Okay.
for business. So in this episode, Think Like a CEO, episode 2, they talk a lot about all these different businesses and what they did successfully and also failures. So companies who didn't shift the proper way and some companies who made the shift and come out of the other side bigger and stronger. So it's a really good episode. Any
Cool.
entrepreneurs out there, definitely take a listen, and I'll put a link in the show notes to it.
Awesome.
Yeah. You?
Uh, well, as far as what we're watching, I would agree with what you just mentioned. And I
Mm-hmm.
just watched an old school show this morning, a movie this morning, Warriors.
Oh yeah,
That
that's
was
great.
fun. That
Mm-hmm.
old school gangs in New York back in the days.
That's a good
Pretty
one.
tough times, but that was a classic.
Yeah.
It was fun to watch all over again. So I'll plug that one.
There you go. And we started watching Thor last night, but I fell asleep. So can't recommend it.
It was funny though.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
was
I
funny
have to
so
keep
far.
I have to keep watching it.
Yeah. All
Yes.
right, cool.
All right. So you
Well,
want to sign us off here? That's it.
well, have a peaceful week, everyone.
Yes.
Always a pleasure. Well, for us.
No sound effects today. We didn't have the studio
Ah,
audience. They
darn
didn't come by.
it. Ah,
So it's Sunday. We can't have people all up in our house like that on a
oh,
Sunday. So
darn it. I have
yeah.
to always
Next
remember this.
time we'll have all the sound effects